Today we are grooming Rosie, the 3-year-old Hungarian Pulley and Poodle mix. Corded dogs take quite some time to groom, so let's get into it. Okay, Rosie, I'm gonna estimate that this will take about 4 hours, but we will see. All right, take your scrunchie out. Now, being a corded dog, it would be great if I had a bathtub to soak her in, but I don't. This tub, you can't fill it with water because there's a door. So that kind of sucks because it would be really great to just be able to let her sit in there and soak in some soapy water. But I don't have that, so I have to use what I do have, which is my shampoo nozzle. So the first thing I'm gonna do is just get her wet. Okay, I'm gonna warm up the water a little bit. Are you thirsty? Take a drink. Okay. Good girl. Good girl. You've had plenty of baths. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but you can cord poodles. Poodles don't naturally cord, but you can cord them. You just have to train the hair. In this case, she is a poodle and a pulley mix. So her hair probably did naturally cord a bit, but they probably also had to do some work on her as well. Don't shake, okay? Don't do it. No, not yet. I should have known better than to not put a towel on the ground, so I'm gonna do that. Lowering the pressure first before I do the face. Now, Rosie doesn't have a corded face. Some people who have corded dogs opt out of cording the face, and that's mainly just to keep the face more clean, because obviously they get it into everything. Okay, now I'm gonna use some diluted shampoo. We're using a deep cleaning shampoo. Girl, Rosie. Girl. Can you turn? Thank you. I'm gonna have to use a lot more shampoo, but I'm gonna stop for now and just get that to go through the cords by squeezing. You guys can tell, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but it is very brown. Don't do it, don't shake yet. It is very, very brown, so she is certainly dirty. We're gonna have to do this more than once, that's for sure. Like, look at that. You see how brown that is? It's like chocolate milk. Ew, Rosie, ew. Oh yeah. If you were white, you would really be able to see the difference between the before and after, but you are black. So pulleys, they are herding dogs, and they are medium size as opposed to the Commodore, which is huge, over 100 pounds. Over here, come here. You can see that the suds have kind of disappeared into the coat, and that's what the coat does. It just absorbs the soap. That's why you have to do a lot of rinsing on these dogs, because it just holds the soap. You guys are a lot of work. I think I will rinse and then shampoo again until I squeeze the cords and no brown comes out. That's when I will stop shampooing. Okay, I'm gonna rinse, and then I am going to shampoo again. This is just a superficial rinse. This won't be doing actual real good job rinsing, but we're gonna shampoo again, so there's no point of me going overboard with the rinsing, only to shampoo again. girl. Stay. Rosie does not like any scented products, so the shampoo I'm using on her today is very mildly scented, and she will not be getting any cologne at the end of her groom today. Shampoo number 2. Okay, let's try this again. You notice that I'm not rubbing the cords. I would just make them really frizzy and kind of ruin them if I did that, so I'm just squeezing. You are still chocolate milk-like. We're going to be here all day. Yeah, you know it. Obviously, owning a dog like this is very high maintenance. Everything gets stuck in their coat, clearly, because of their cords. So a lot of, vegetation from outside and stuff like that. So it requires an owner that's really diligent about maintaining their dog's cords, making sure they don't turn into giant balls of mats, making sure they're staying clean, and finding a groomer willing to work on them, because that is no easy task. I'm going to estimate that this bath in itself is going to take 1 hour. You need to separate these layers because the soap seems to only be going on the top layer. The underbelly is shaved, which is convenient. I haven't really had a chance to wash her face yet because she doesn't seem to like it. Fortunately, with her face not being corded, it's going to make it a lot easier for me to shampoo it. Come here. Stay. She does not like the water in her face. That is pretty obvious. Okay, the suds are finally coming out clean. No more chocolate milk. So I'm gonna rinse her with both nozzles. I'm gonna use this one first, and then I will use the Save Your Fur nozzle. Okay, that is one method of rinsing, and now we're gonna switch over to the Save Your Fur. This is a thicker stream of water, so it's similar to if I were to be soaking her in a tub. Okay, let's see if you still have any suds. Stay there. So far, I see no suds. Nope. Okay, now I'm going to take my absorber towel and I am going to squeeze everywhere. All of this squeezing definitely hurts your hands. My hands are feeling very tired at this point. But fortunately, this is the last amount of squeezing I'm going to have to do. Because after that, we are going to dry. For those of you guys who watch this channel often, just a reminder that this is channel number 2. So this is Girl with the Dogs 2. These are longer versions of my grooms. There is less editing as well as more educational content, step-by-step process. So if you want to support this channel, make sure to subscribe. A lot of people think that it's the same channel as the first one, and it's not. In addition to that, sometimes people get unsubscribed to my channels without realizing it. Something to do with a glitch of YouTube, I think. So just make sure to recheck to ensure that you are in fact subscribed if you want to support the channel. Okay, so she's being placed in the crate to dry, probably for about a half hour. We just want to get her, you know, maybe 20% dry before I put her on the table and use the high velocity dryer. And this will also give her a little bit of a break from grooming. It's important to note that when you're using a crate dryer, you need to be in the room with the animal to ensure that the animal doesn't overheat. However, these dryers don't blow out hot air, they blow out room temperature air. So she cannot overheat with these dryers on her. So we will be back in about 30 minutes and then I will continue drying her on the table. Okay, so it's been about 30 minutes. She's about 20% dry. We're both gonna put on some hearing protection and I'm going to use the high velocity dryer to dry her until she is about 80% dry. So she will go home about 20% damp, and that is normal for a corded dog. And when drying a corded dog, you need to use the flat nozzle. Okay, so Rosie doesn't want her face dried. It did dry fairly well in the crate dryer, so I'm not gonna force dry it because she hates it. But now I'm gonna go through her cords and I'm gonna split them because there are some that are matted together in order to keep her cords and her skin healthy. So now I'm just gonna go through her and I'm going to separate all of the cords, because if you have to keep cords separated in order to keep them healthy. That's what prevents matting. If they are all clumped together, then it will cause matting, and that will be very irritating to the dog. So right now, cords are a system of organized mats, which means that you can see right down to the skin, and the mats can move freely. They're not attached to one another, and that's what you want. So I've already done the most of them on this side, so I'll do more on the other side. But before I turn her around, I am going to shave her bum because it's full of poop. This side was actually really good. There was only a few that I had to pull. The owners obviously take good care of her and are making sure to constantly pull these, but I will go over it one more time before I turn her around. Shave her sanitary. Don't sit, okay? This is a tedious job just because it takes time, but it's quite easy just to go through and make sure you're pulling them apart. Here's one here. Pull it down. Okay, now for the paws. We have to do some brushing because the paws are typically not corded. So you brush these out. Stay. I'm lifting up all of the cords. You can't lick them while I'm clipping. It's gonna hurt. I don't want to cut any of her cords. I just want to cut just the paw pad here. These ears are quite matted in just certain spots. So I'm gonna feel where the tip of the ear is. I'm just gonna try and help split them with scissors. Okay, so using thinning shears, I'm just going to get some of this hair that's in between her eyes here. I don't want to get any of the hair that's growing on top of her eye, because that will grow and go inside her ponytail. And then her lip hairs here, I'm just gonna cut those out. Nope, stay. So we have no cologne for Rosie today because she doesn't like cologne. That's what the owner said. In total, her groom took me 3 hours and 17 minutes to complete. I'm gonna let her outside to run around. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you again in a few days.